That's the beauty of it.
No one told me the Princess of Ravens had no mother. They only spoke of her cruelty, her beauty, her unrelenting hunger. Aya Veylor, the only daughter of King Therion the Iron, heir to the kingdom of dark banners and pale stone. They said she ruled the Eastern Tower as if it were her own sovereign realm, and any man foolish enough to enter her bedchamber either vanished or never left her mind. They call her insatiable, wicked, touched by the night. But I know now, she was just starved. Not for intimacy, though she took that too, but for power, for control, for a feeling she could command, own, shatter, and rebuild with her thighs clenched around something that trembled. And God's help me, I became hers the night I tried to rob her. I was a shadow among the royal stone that night, my boots silent on cold marble. The moonlight poured through high, narrow windows like milk across a tomb. Her tower loomed above the royal chapel, stained glass glowing dully from within. I'd been told she never locked her doors. I didn't understand why until later. I slipped in. Aya's room wasn't like the others in the palace. It wasn't perfumed with rose water or brightened by silk. It was cavernous, with black velvet curtains that drowned out the world. Chandeliers hung with raven feathers, and there were cages, not for birds, but for something else. Desire, perhaps. Madness. Her bed was massive, shaped like a clawed nest. Its headboard carved with eyes and wings. It looked like a place where gods might bleed. Books were stacked in disorder. Old mythologies, bound spellcraft, her mother's journal. I would later learn, kept near her pillow though. The pages were blank and burned clean by grief. The air was heavy with something intimate. Musk, spice, and lavender oil laced with the scent of candle wax, parchment, and sex. She watched me from the shadows of the balcony, where her body seemed conjured from the dark itself. She wore only a sheer black robe, long enough to graze the floor, open enough to show the swell of her breasts and the curve of her hip. Her hair was ink poured over porcelain, long, tangled, and wild. Aya did not gasp. She did not call for the guards. She whispered, "You know what they say about thieves who touch what belongs to me." I turned and froze as the glint of a dagger caught the candlelight. Her lips curled like something cruel. "They never steal again, unless it's my breath," she said. I was thrown back against the pillar, steel in my throat, but her eyes didn't burn with rage. They glittered with curiosity, a test. She was hunting me not to kill, but to see if I'd flinch. "I could end you here," she said softly, pressing the dagger beneath my jaw. "Your blood would paint my sheets red for the third time this week." "Third," I choked out. She smiled like a secret. "You're not the first man to crawl into my tower, thinking he'd leave richer." Then she let the dagger fall. A robe slipped from her shoulders, and Aya stepped toward me, bare, unflinching. Her body was not the fragile elegance of a noble's daughter. She was lush, dangerous, a silhouette of soft curves shaped by will, not vanity. Her breasts were full and heavy, tip with dusky nipples that responded to the air. Her stomach dipped with a natural softness, her thighs thick, and parted as she stepped closer. I stared, dumbstruck. "I see your mouth works," she said. "Good. If you want to live, use it." I didn't speak. I couldn't. Her scent, warm, musky, already aroused, hit me like a spell. She sat upon the edge of her nest bed, legs open, one knee bent over the other, and calculated exposure. Her lips glistened, swollen with need, the folds dark and plush, a secret made visible. Her voice dropped. "Get on your knees." I dropped like a blade. She didn't close her eyes. Aya watched me the entire time, like a queen overseeing sacrifice. She gasped when I pressed my tongue to her, a gasp that tasted like triumph and sorrow. I licked her gently, reverently, as if peeling back the layers of her mask with each stroke. "Slower," she hissed. "Make me feel it. Every flick." Her thighs closed around my ears. I tasted her like wine, tongue drawing circles around her, then dipping low, deeper, curling inside her until her back arched. She pulled my hair, hard, rounding herself in a rhythm. I moaned, but it wasn't sweet. It was desperate, broken. The sound of a woman trying to silence grief with pleasure. Her hips bucked forward, demanding more, and I gave it. Licked her until her thighs trembled, until she cursed my name, until her climax spilled onto my lips like rain after drought. She was still, then shaking. And when she looked down at me, it wasn't power I saw in her eyes. It was fear. She told me her mother died giving birth, that her father never looked at her the same after, as if she were the ghost that stole his wife. The queen's rooms were sealed shut. No portraits remained. "Everything I am," she whispered one night, "is a rebellion against his grief." She took what she wanted because nothing had ever been given. She made like a warlord, claiming new territory, one climax at a time. She needed to dominate the night because the day was never hers. And she kept me because I didn't ask her to stop. I came back the next night, and the night after. At first, it was always between her thighs. That was her throne, her place of control. Her climax was my leash. I kissed her there, suckled her, until her cries echoed off stone, and she gripped the back of my head like she'd tear it off if I stopped. Something changed. She started asking questions, not about my name, but my memories, my pain. One night after she came, she crawled beside me, naked, sweating, trembling, and said nothing for hours. Her hand rested lightly on my chest, as if she were testing the shape of comfort. "You're not like the others," she whispered. "You don't want to own me." "No," I said. She laughed bitterly. Not yet. Soon after, the king found out about us. Not about the sex, about the emotion. He stormed her tower, fire in his eyes, and Aya stood between him and me, in nothing but a robe and her pride. I'll take 100 lovers if I please, she hissed. You lost the right to shape me when she died. He raised a hand to strike her, and I drew my dagger. Aya smiled, and then she screamed for the guards. For me. She had me dragged out, bloody, but alive. 2 nights later, she found me in the woods, alone, cold, scarred. She wore a cloak of raven feathers and no shoes. She knelt before me in the snow and pressed my face between her thighs like it was a prayer. You live because I made them believe you meant nothing, she said. I licked her slowly. She cried as she came. That night we ran, north, into exile. And every night since, I still worship her body like it holds the key to some lost God's salvation. But now, she lets me inside her. Now, Aya rides me like a queen reclaiming her birthright. Now she whispers my name, not as a command, but as a surrender. You've just tasted a drop of the dark. Ready for more? Subscribe to Amorous Sanctum and let the shadows pull you deeper into a world of forbidden fantasy and wicked romance. Have a dark desire you love to see unfold? Whisper it in the comments. We adore your imagination. Until we meet again, don't be afraid to crave.